There are a lot of really sexy restaurants and sexy dinners that you can have on a Virgin Voyages Scarlet Lady cruise. And in this video, we're going to give you the top 5 sexiest restaurants on Scarlet Lady.
That's right. So keep watching. We're the Traveling Swingers.
So there's such amazing food on these ships.
Yeah.
We've been on every single cruise line there is that goes out of Miami, that goes to the Caribbean, all of that, including other places in the world. And we have never found a cruise line that has such amazing food.
And great variety.
Great variety, great things that you would not necessarily try on another cruise ship, or you wouldn't see on another cruise ship, that you can find here, and you're like, oh, that's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I've never tried anything like that before, and it could be amazing, and it could be not so amazing.
Yeah.
So we're going to just kind of go over all those different things and just kind of give our opinions on what we saw and what was a little bit on the sexier side, and there was surprisingly quite a bit to choose from.
Yeah. Just
to kind of give you a little bit of a backstory, we actually have these big group trips that we create. Generally, it's about 50 people that we like to bring on, all generally, open-minded, having fun type of group that we love to do. And we set up group reservations so that people can eat at different restaurants every single night of the cruise, because there are 5 specific restaurants. There are more than that, but these are our favorites, and we just kind of love to eat and love to try different things. So the first night we took our group and we went to the Italian restaurant.
Yep. Yeah, Extra Virgin.
Extra Virgin, yes. I can never remember the name of it. I keep wanting to call it Olive Garden, and it is not the Olive Garden. It's quite a bit better than that. Yeah. I don't know. That just keeps getting stuck in my head. So Extra Virgin is the Italian restaurant that they have on board, and it is absolutely fantastic.
You know what I want to say is one of my favorite things about going to Extra Virgin with a group is they bring you all the appetizers. Mm-hmm. So you don't have to make a decision. You can have a taste of everything, which is a great way to sample the entire menu, because they do have a lot of different appetizers. And if it was just the 2 of us, we'd probably choose one each. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And this way you get a bite of everything. And if you like something, you can always ask for more. But this is a great way to just have a little taste of everything they have on the menu. Exactly.
They put everything on the tables for you, so you can have this kind of, I'll take a little bit of the cheeses over here, and I'll take a little bit of this goat thing that's over here, and a little bit of meat and all meatballs, and just absolutely fantastic. And I had for my main course a squid ink pasta. Mm-hmm. I love squid. I love seafood. I love shellfish. So of course the seafood, I see something like that, I'm like, oh, that's interesting that they actually use the ink to flavor it, and it was phenomenal. It was phenomenal. It was something that I wasn't sure if I would try that because it's a little bit unusual, mm-hmm. but because it's seafood, I'm gonna trust Virgin Voyages that they're gonna do a really good job, and of course they did. It was delicious. So what did you have to eat?
I had the fish that night.
Okay, and how was that?
Really good. Yeah, it was just plated beautifully, and it was just had a little fennel on the side, which I love fennel. Mm-hmm. So yeah, that was really good.
Yeah, the presentation is always fantastic of what they do everywhere that we eat. They really, really try to bring it up a notch. And if you're not familiar with Virgin Voyages, they are an adults only cruise line. So they don't want just kind of grilled cheese sandwich just kind of sitting there, just whatever, that for the kids, that type of thing. They really are trying to make restaurants that are really, really appetizing to someone, whether you're a foodie and you're very, very specific on, oh, I want to try some of the best food ever, or you're like, I just want to, I'm on a fancy cruise ship, I want to eat something delicious, and they did a good job. Yeah, they did a good job. So that was Extra Virgin. Yeah. And then what did we have the second night?
The second night we went to the Korean barbecue place, mm-hmm. Gunbae.
Gunbae.
So much fun.
Yeah, so Gunbae is Korean barbecue, and if you have never been to a Korean barbecue place, they make a game out of eating dinner, and they have drinking games that everybody plays. It's circular dining, so you're always going to be with a group of people, even if it's just you and one other person. They're going to put you with other people, so you can have a more fun, sexier dinner experience. Yeah. And they do a really good job with that. We played a drinking game. Don't ask me what it was called, because it was in Korean.
It's called Gunbae.
Well, every game is called. You yell Gunbae a lot.
Cheers.
Oh, Gunbae.
That's what he said, yeah.
Oh, okay. So she's teaching me all these things.
I pay attention.
Yeah, I don't. So thank you for that. Yeah. But basically, it was a counting game, and it was a very it was an easy enough counting game that you play as the group, and if you mess up, then everybody yells Gunbae as loud as possible, and then that person drinks their drink and
a shot of soji.
Soji, yeah, and that which was really good, really good.
Really
Grapefruit, watermelon. it was amazing. And so you kind of want to lose so that you can drink it. And
no, but if you win, you get an extra shot.
That's true too.
So you want to win.
And of course, the more that you drink, the harder the game gets. So that's kind of the thinking process on that. But the food was another amazing dinner. Like it was many courses based on how many people were sitting at our table, and we had 8 people at our table.
I feel like every time you finish eating at Gunbae, you need to you need a wheelchair to get out of there. You just need to be rolled out. There's so much food. You're just so full, but it's all so good. Yeah, all the different appetizers they bring you like a bunch of little salads to try. And then you have you can choose on the menu like what you want to eat, whether you want seafood or pork belly, steak, that kind of stuff. And then they cook it right in front of you. So they had a bunch of vegetables that they cooked, a bunch of mushrooms, different kinds of mushrooms, and that kind of stuff. And then they brought out the seafood. We had shrimp and octopus and different seafoods. And then they brought out pork belly and then the short ribs, which were fantastic. I think that was everybody's favorite.
And a bonus tip for Gunbae, they have a drink there called the K-pop, which is only available at that restaurant. And it comes to you in a disco ball, a yay big disco ball cup, and it is a watermelon drink that has Pop Rocks inside of it. So as you're drinking it, you got this explosion in your mouth. It's super fun. Generally, our group, we order all of them, and so they kind of run out of the balls because we order so many at the same time. But that's something that you definitely want to order there because it's very unusual, and it's also very good. It is a sweet drink.
Refreshing drink.
Yeah, it's a sweet drink, and I get it every time, and I love it. And I guzzle it, and the Pop Rocks are fun too.
Yeah,
so yeah. Okay, so that was Gunbae, and then the next night we went to
Pink Agave.
Pink Agave,
which of course is my favorite.
Yeah, so Pink Agave has a little bit of a misnomer to it. People tend to think because they call it a Mexican restaurant, they think it's going to be like a Mexican restaurant that you would have at home that has tacos and enchiladas and nachos.
Yeah.
And we actually had a couple people that decided not to go with us because they thought it was going to be a Mexican restaurant, and it's vaguely Mexican. A Mexican-inspired restaurant. It is very high-end foods that have a little bit of a spice to them, and all very good, all very different. What did you have?
So we'll start off with the appetizers.
Sure.
Again, same thing. They bring you all of the appetizers. So we sat at a table with 6, and most of their tables a lot of their tables are 7. They have tabletops for 2 as well, but we all as a group got to sit together mostly. And so they bring a variety of all the appetizers, and they have the most amazing guacamole. And so you get a scoop of guacamole on a chip, and it's just you just get one. I mean, you can always order more, but so I think I ate. And nobody was really eating it, so I just had more of that. The other thing that I loved was they had a corn salad that was really good. And again, a lot of people I could have just eaten the appetizers and been very happy.
Sure.
They did bring out chicken enchiladas, and that was part of the appetizers. They were just 2 small chicken enchiladas for you to share. So those were my top 3 appetizers. But then after that, you order your large plate. And last time we were there, I ordered the vegetarian meal, and I remember looking at our friends who had ordered the steak, feeling really sad that I didn't order the steak. So I decided to go for the steak this time. And
me too.
Oh my gosh, it was a ribeye. It was big. It was so huge. I think I ate a quarter of it. It was so big.
Yeah. I had the same thing. It's and it's fantastic. I think I ate some of yours too. So I highly recommend the steak there. It's really, really.
I also heard they have duck there, and I heard the duck was really fantastic as well. So they had fish. So they had a vegetarian option, which was a stuffed pepper. They had the duck. They had the fish, and then they had the steak. And one person at our table got the duck, and one person got the fish, and they both said it was fantastic.
And just in case you didn't know, duck is an aphrodisiac. So, as one could argue, every food is, because that makes me want to do other things too. So it gives me energy. So, but yeah, the duck is. We've only heard excellent things about it. So I highly recommend that as well.
It's fantastic.
Okay. This is our favorite restaurant. Is it your favorite restaurant too?
No.
Oh, it's not your favorite. Well, this is my favorite restaurant. Okay. This is called Test Kitchen. Test Kitchen is a restaurant that it goes with a name. They basically are testing different foods out. So basically what you get is an 8-course meal that is kind of all over the place. It all works really, really well together, but it's very unusual. And we always tell people, absolutely try Test Kitchen and absolutely come in with an open mind, because they are going to be some things on there that you're like, I would have never thought of that. For example, the asparagus sorbet.
It was a palate cleanser.
Yeah, and that's something that's like, I'm not even a big asparagus fan, but let alone turning that into some sort of desserty type thing and making it sweet was actually pretty good. And it was something I would never order on a menu. I'd never get it in a big container from Safeway. That'd be weird. But because they have their chefs designing all of these meals constantly, they're really testing things out, and some of the things work and some of the things don't. In that entire course, I think there was one or two things that I was just like, nah, that really wasn't my jam.
You didn't like the beets.
I didn't like the beets, but beets will never be good, and beets should never be on anyone's menu ever.
They're delicious.
Yeah, so that was their mistake for putting beets on their menu. They knew I wasn't going to like it.
There have been one time where they did something with peas, and you were really upset about that too. So it's
okay.
It's not them, it's him.
yeah, it's not me. Yeah, so it's really good. Also, they do a really, really good job on pairing there. So definitely when you go there, you're going to want to ask them what type of pairings they have. They have a wine pairing. They have a beer pairing, I believe. They have a liquor. They also have a virgin drink. Is that the right word? Mocktails. Yeah. They had mocktails if you don't drink that they've actually paired with each of the courses. We had a friend of ours who had 8 glasses of wine last night with each course, and she was having a good time. I think that's a lot of wine. Yeah. But they really designed each wine specifically to go with every single piece of this meal, and it was phenomenal. It was phenomenal. I highly recommend it. It's, like I said, it's unusual, but it has a sexier vibe to it, and it's just delicious, and it's fun.
It's different. It's just very different. It's not something you would necessarily do at home, and you do actually leave full.
Yes,
I definitely felt full.
And that's the biggest thing that we really like to tell people on Virgin Voyages is this is not like other cruise lines. You're not going to have a big buffet that's just kind of generic. Everybody's eating the same things over and over again. Or you go into one big restaurant and it's the same meals every single night. They really, really try very hard to give you meals that are not what you're going to get at home. Something that's actually a really delicious high-end meal.
And an experience.
Have an experience. That's right. The chefs come out to you. The waiters are all very friendly, and they're actually explaining what you're going to be consuming and giving you kind of an idea of like, okay, this was our thought process when we came up with this meal, and this is why this goes with this, and something that you might not have thought of, but they're really, really good at what they do. So definitely check out Test Kitchen. And of course, last but not least, this is your favorite restaurant.
This is my favorite restaurant. Yes, the Wake. The Wake is, I would say, like the fancy restaurant on board. If you have to pick one.
If these other ones weren't fancy enough for you.
This one is a steak and seafood restaurant. And so if you're looking for a really good steak or upscale seafood, they're going to have it here. They have like a seafood tower.
That's very good.
You get a whole bunch of stuff. So we've had people at our table order that before, and it's way too much for one person, so they usually end up sharing it. That's usually an additional upcharge for that, but so they usually share it with the table. So that's really cool. I believe you can get oysters and all sorts of, which I love oysters, but all sorts of seafood, and then great steaks. For my appetizer, I've had bone marrow. Really good. Just spread it on the crispy toast. And
this is what I do every single time. Now, it's an extra charge, but they have a tomahawk steak there. It's massive. It is, and it is unbelievable. It's too much for one person. I like to believe. Because I look at it every time. I'm like, oh yeah, I could eat that. But then it comes to your table and you're just like, no way. And I love steak, and I'll eat all the steak I can and every meal of every day if I could. But even still, it's too much for one person. So you generally are going to end up sharing that either with the person across the table from you or the people at the table next door. That's all fine too. Everybody's friendly here, so it's totally cool. Do that. So there are some excellent restaurants, and of course we mentioned that they don't have a buffet, but what they do have is what's called the galley, and the galley is like is the closest thing to the buffet, but it really isn't that. We actually say it's
cafeteria.
We say like cafeteria or even food court, like at the mall, but like way better than that. Like that's just the best way to describe it, but it's not that. So you basically will sit down at your table, and they with your phone you'll scan the menu, and they have a breakfast, lunch, and dinner menu, even though they have breakfast available 24 hours a day. And so you can order a delicious omelet or bacon or whatever time of night it might be. And they'll bring it to you, and they have Asian food, and they have Mexican food, and they have burgers, and they have amazing desserts.
They have the most lovely salad bar with like pre-made salads, or you can like choose your own salads and they'll make it for you. Really good salad dressings, and you can get bread or rolls with it if you want.
Sure. And because we did say that we were talking about the sexiest foods, there is one food that is my sexiest food. They make such a big deal of it. The name of the ice cream place on board is called Lick Me Till Ice Cream. And there's a lot of, sexier foods, sexy innuendos all over the ship. And that just happens to be my favorite because I love ice cream. And licking you until you scream is fine. So I it works out. It works out perfectly that way.
Funny, if I don't know where he is, I know that when I find him, I'm going to find him walking up with an ice cream.
With an ice cream cone. That is a safe bet. They're not open 24 hours a day, but they're open like 19. And so just having that window is generally enough for me to get ice cream quite a few times a day. So,
I would be surprised if you didn't know their hours.
They're open till 10 p.m. I don't know what time they open because I'm usually asleep. Oh, okay. All right. Okay. But I know they close at 10. So 9:58 p.m. you want to go there and get your last call for ice cream.
The great thing about being on board too is if these restaurants aren't your jam, if you don't want to sit down, or if you missed a time slot, or you just want to grab something, they have a lot of grab and go. Like at the galley, they have, like when you first walk in, just some salad, sandwiches, charcuterie, that kind of stuff that you could just grab it and take out onto the deck, or you could take it back to your room. So it's really nice and easy. They have many other restaurants that we didn't even talk about on board, or eateries on board.
Right. So you're just going to have to stay tuned and make sure you subscribe to the channel if you want to learn all about them and learn more about Virgin Voyages, and you want to learn more about other lifestyle events that we host, or some other crazy cruises that exist that you've never heard of before, but they're actually pretty wild. And even if you're never going to go on them, they're kind of interesting to learn about. So just, and of course we appreciate it if you do like this video as well. Click that little like button. That we always appreciate it. That basically tells other people that this video is interesting enough for other people to watch. So thank you for that. We really, really appreciate it. And of course, if you're not familiar with us, we actually host events all over the world, including 3 times a year. We're on Virgin Voyages as a big group of people. We do one in March, which is the cruise that we're just finishing up here. And then we do one in August as well. And then in September, we go to Europe. Where this year, we're going out of Barcelona. And every year, it's going to be somewhere different. So just keep an eye on that by clicking on the link in the description below.
That's right.
All right. Thank you so much for watching. Is there anything else you want to say?
No, we need to go because I'm all this talking about food. I want to go get some food now.
Okay. something delicious and something sexy. All right. Well, thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next time.